What if a place could break your heart and steal your breath in the same moment? Bangladesh, a nation of 170 million souls squeezed into a land smaller than Iowa, is a paradox of beauty and pain. In this travel documentary, we venture into life in Bangladesh, where the culture pulses with vibrant markets, ancient traditions, and secrets that linger in the shadows. From the chaotic streets of Dhaka to the hidden brothels of Daulatdia, the people of Bangladesh navigate a world where survival often demands unthinkable sacrifices. Prostitution, legal yet cloaked in stigma, thrives in plain sight, while whispers of husband sharing in rural villages shock the uninitiated. I've wandered this earth for over 6 decades, seen empires rise and fall, but daily life in Bangladesh feels like a story from another time, one that's raw, unfiltered, and haunting. The cost of living in Bangladesh is low. $1,000 a month can sustain a family of 4, but the emotional toll of its hidden practices is beyond measure. Join me as we uncover the hidden gems of Bangladesh, not just its mosques and monsoons, but the stories that make you question what it means to endure in a world both ancient and unforgiving. This journey will leave you curious, unsettled, and perhaps a little wiser about the human condition. Before we plunge deeper into this raw, unpolished world, let me ask for a small favor. If this travel documentary sparks a flicker of wonder or unease in you, hit that like button. Drop a comment about what shocks or moves you most about Bangladesh's hidden truths. And if you crave more tales from the world's forgotten corners, subscribe and ring that bell. It keeps this old storyteller trudging through jungles and slums, bringing you more hidden gems from places the modern world barely notices. Your support fuels these journeys. So let's explore this together. Now, let's step into the muddy waters and shadowed alleys of Bangladesh. Daulatdia, the village built on heartbreak. Ever heard of a place where hope goes to die, yet somehow persists? Daulatdia, a sprawling slum on the Padma River's edge, is the world's largest brothel village, home to 1,600 to 2,000 sex workers. Many as young as 14, serving over 3,000 men daily. This isn't just a red light district, it's a microcosm of the culture of Bangladesh, where poverty and tradition collide in a brutal dance. Women here, often trafficked or sold by desperate families for as little as $250, live in corrugated shacks, their lives controlled by madams who were once victims themselves. In 2020, Bangladesh's lockdown left these women starving, with no clients and aid barely trickling in. NGOs reported 70% of Daulatdia's workers faced hunger. The cost of living in Daulatdia is merciless, $2 for 10 minutes of work, most of which goes to pimps or rent. Yet, there's a grim resilience here. Some women, after years of debt, gain independence, choosing to stay because society shuns them. In 2023, only 200 women escaped Daulatdia, a drop in the bucket. This travel documentary doesn't flinch from the truth. While prostitution is legal for women over 18, corruption lets children slip through the cracks. Our world, with its apps and activism, feels like a distant planet compared to these alleys, where survival is the only currency. The daily life in Bangladesh's brothels is a stark reminder of what desperation can forge. Husband sharing, survival's strange bargain. What does it mean when a community shares more than just land or rice? In Bangladesh's remote riverine villages, particularly among the Bede and other marginalized groups, a practice often mislabeled husband sharing raises questions that linger like monsoon rains. It's not polyamory or some romanticized openness. It's a cold, hard transaction born of necessity. In 2019, anthropologists documented that in some communities, women often widowed or abandoned enter arrangements where multiple men provide food, shelter, or protection in exchange for companionship. This isn't love, it's economics. With 38% of rural Bangladeshis living below the poverty line, earning less than $1.90 a day, these deals keep families from starvation. A single mother might feed her children by accepting support from 2 or 3 men, each contributing to the household. The people of Bangladesh in these areas don't flaunt this. It's whispered, judged, and often misunderstood by outsiders. In 2024, studies estimated 5,000 women in Chittagong's riverine areas lived in such arrangements, though exact numbers are murky. Compare that to our world, where dating apps turn love into a swipe-right game. The daily life in Bangladesh's villages' mud huts, no electricity, 1 meal a day makes these choices less shocking, more tragic. This travel documentary seeks to understand, not sensationalize, a culture of Bangladesh where survival bends morality in ways that haunt you long after the story ends. The legal paradox: prostitution in a Muslim nation. How does a Muslim-majority country legalize prostitution while its laws call for its end? Bangladesh walks a razor's edge. Since 2000, women over 18 can register as sex workers. But Article 18 of the Constitution urges the state to eradicate it. In 2020, Bangladesh had 200,000 sex workers, with estimates of 10,000 to 29,000 underage. Trapped in a system where legality offers no freedom. Brothels like Kandapura and Tangale, operating for 200 years, are run by powerful families, untouchable by police. In 2014, only 8 traffickers were convicted out of 6,000 arrests, a conviction rate below 0.5%. Life in Bangladesh's brothels is a cycle of debt and despair. Girls sold for $137 to $450, forced to repay through years of servitude. A single shift might mean 10 clients, each paying $2, with half going to madams. Our modern world, with its hashtags and human rights marches, seems oblivious to these women, who live in shacks without running water, their bodies a commodity. In 2023, Dhaka's brothels housed 7,000 women, 30% under 18 despite laws. This travel documentary exposes the contradiction, a nation striving for progress while tethered to traditions that profit from pain. The cost of living in Bangladesh's underbelly isn't just money, it's dignity, hope, and sometimes life itself. The Rohingya crisis: exploitation and exile. What happens when 1 million people flee genocide only to face new horrors? The Rohingya, driven from Myanmar in 2017, crowd camps in Cox's Bazar, where over 700,000 live in bamboo huts on muddy hills. Here, prostitution thrives, not by choice but by desperation. In 2017, reports estimated 500 Rohingya women and girls worked as sex workers in Katupalang camp, some as young as 14, earning $1.84 per client after pimps take half. Traffickers prey on the vulnerable, luring girls with fake job offers in Dhaka, only to sell them into brothels for $500. The daily life in Bangladesh's camps is bleak, food rations are scarce, and 1 meal a day is standard. In 2024, UNICEF reported 60% of Rohingya children were malnourished, pushing mothers into sex work to buy rice. The people of Bangladesh, including locals, often resent the Rohingya, blaming them for straining resources. Cox's Bazar's population has doubled since 2017. Yet, these women aren't criminals, they're survivors in a system that fails them. Our world, where we bicker over border policies, feels like a cruel joke to those in Katupalang, where a girl's body is worth less than a week's groceries. This travel documentary shines a light on the hidden gems of Bangladesh, its resilience, but also its shadows, where the cost of living is paid in humanity. The Baiji legacy: art born from suffering. Can beauty rise from a world of shame? Centuries ago, the Baiji courtesans skilled in dance, song, and poetry were the pride of Bengal. In the 17th century, under Mughal rule, they performed Khyal and Kathak in Dhaka's mehfils, their elegance immortalized in works like Ghanar-M Chakrabarti's poems. Today, their legacy lingers in the culture of Bangladesh. But it's warped by stigma. Modern sex workers, sometimes called Baron Bonita, inherit the Baiji's shame without their status. In 2024, Dhaka's fading Baiji neighborhoods, like Nimtali, house women who dream of escape but face rejection from a society that brands them impure. The cost of living in Bangladesh's cities is crushing. A Dhaka slum apartment costs $500 a month, while a sex worker might earn $10 a night. The daily life in Bangladesh blends this history with harsh realities. Women who once sang for nobles now sing for survival, their voices drowned out by the city's chaos. In 2023, only 50 women in Nintali were trained in alternative skills like sewing. A fraction of the 1,000 still trapped. Our world, with its streaming playlists and viral dances, forgets the human cost of art born from suffering. This travel documentary mourns the lost grace of the Baiji while confronting the gritty truth of their successors, a haunting hidden gem of Bangladesh's past. Trafficking, the theft of childhood. What's the price of a human life in a land where poverty reigns supreme? Trafficking fuels Bangladesh's sex trade, with 100,000 women and girls enslaved, less than 10% entering by choice. Girls as young as 10 are sold by families or kidnapped, forced to sign false affidavits claiming they're 18. In 2023, the U.S. The State Department ranked Bangladesh a Tier 2 watchlist nation. Citing weak enforcement, only 400 trafficking cases were prosecuted out of 20,000 reported. Brothels like Mymensingh, with 700 to 1,000 workers, see girls raped multiple times daily, earning $3.66 per client. The life in Bangladesh's brothels is a graveyard of dreams. Suicides are so common that Daulatdia has its own cemetery, with 50 unmarked graves added in 2022. Running water or freedom. The people of Bangladesh aren't blind to this. NGOs like Blast rescue dozens yearly, but corruption runs deep. Police often take bribes of $50 to look away. In 2024, 15,000 girls were trafficked across Bangladesh's borders, many to India. This travel documentary isn't just about shock. It's about understanding a culture of Bangladesh where survival often means selling your soul, a truth that claws at your conscience. The rural struggle, where poverty shapes choices. Ever wonder what it's like to live where every day is a gamble with fate? In Bangladesh's rural heartlands, 80% of the population scrapes by on less than $100 a month. Villages along the Brahmaputra River, with no electricity or clean water, are worlds apart from Dhaka's neon glow. Here, daily life in Bangladesh is a grind. Women walk miles to fetch water, while men toil in fields yielding barely enough rice to feed a family. In 2022, floods destroyed 30% of Bangladesh's crops, leaving 4 million farmers in debt. The cost of living in Bangladesh's villages is low. A mud hut costs nothing but labor, but hunger is a constant shadow. This is where practices like husband sharing take root, not out of tradition, but desperation. A widow might rely on a neighbor's rice in exchange for intimacy, a transaction that keeps her children alive. In 2024, 10,000 women in Sylhet's flood-prone areas were reported in such arrangements. Though stigma keeps numbers vague, our world, with its grocery apps and climate conferences, feels irrelevant here, where the culture of Bangladesh is shaped by survival, not ideals. This travel documentary peels back the layers of rural life, revealing both the resilience and the quiet tragedies of the people of Bangladesh. The fight for change. Sparks in the darkness. Can a broken system ever heal? Amid Bangladesh's shadows, there are glimmers of defiance. NGOs like Mukti Mohila Samiti, led by former sex workers, provide food, legal aid, and hope, helping 200 girls escape Daulatdia since 2015. In 1999, 100 sex workers fought eviction from Tambazar brothels, winning a landmark case that gave them legal recognition. Education programs, like those by Save the Children, reach 300 children in Daulatdia, offering a path out of the cycle. Yet, progress is agonizingly slow. 50% of Bangladeshi girls were married as children in 2020, down from 90% in 1970, but trafficking persists. The cost of living in Bangladesh's villages, where a family survives on $100 a month, keeps the cycle spinning. In 2023, only 5% of Daulatdia's workers accessed government aid, blocked by corruption. Daily life in Bangladesh is a tug-of-war between tradition and reform, where the people of Bangladesh cling to hope against crushing odds. Our world, with its instant fixes and viral campaigns, could learn from their tenacity. This travel documentary celebrates these hidden gems of Bangladesh and its fighters while acknowledging the long, brutal road ahead. A reminder that change is possible, even in the darkest corners. The role of faith, morality in a complex land. How does faith shape a nation caught between piety and pragmatism? Bangladesh, with 90% of its population Muslim, is a land where mosques dot every village, yet prostitution operates openly. The culture of Bangladesh is steeped in Islamic values: prayer 5 times a day, charity during Ramadan, but economic realities blur moral lines. In 2024, 70% of sex workers in Dhaka identified as Muslim, many praying in secret to avoid judgment. Religious leaders often condemn prostitution, yet some brothels, like Kandapura, donate to local mosques, creating uneasy alliances. The daily life in Bangladesh weaves faith into survival. Women in Daulatdia fast during Ramadan, even as they work nights. In rural areas, husband sharing is justified by some as a lesser sin than starvation, a logic born of desperation. Our world, with its culture wars and online sermons, seems detached from this pragmatism, where faith bends to feed a family. In 2023, 20% of Bangladesh's imams advocated for sex workers' rehabilitation, a small but growing shift. This travel documentary explores how the people of Bangladesh balance belief and survival, a hidden gem of resilience that challenges our black and white views of morality. The urban contrast, Dhaka's chaos and secrets. What does it look like when a city of 22 million hides its pain in plain sight? Dhaka, Bangladesh's beating heart, is a labyrinth of rickshaws, skyscrapers, and slums. The cost of living in Bangladesh's capital is higher than in villages. A one-room apartment costs $500 a month, while a street vendor earns $5 a day. Beneath the neon lights, sex work thrives. Not just in brothels, but in hotels and backstreets. In 2024, 30,000 sex workers operated in Dhaka, 40% unregistered, dodging police raids. Life in Bangladesh's urban sprawl is relentless. Traffic jams last hours, air pollution chokes lungs, and floods turn streets into rivers. Yet, Dhaka's hidden gems shine through. Its markets, where spices and silks dazzle, and its music, where Rabindra Sangeet echoes in tea houses. The culture of Bangladesh and Dhaka is a clash of old and new. Women in burqas pass billboards for smartphones. Our world, with its curated feeds and city breaks, can't grasp this chaos, where survival is an art form. This travel documentary dives into Dhaka's underbelly, revealing a city that's both a marvel and a tragedy, where the people of Bangladesh hustle, dream, and endure. Conclusion: a mirror to our souls. Bangladesh isn't just a country, it's a question mark etched in mud and monsoons. The life in Bangladesh, with its rivers, slums, and secrets, reveals a resilience that humbles and a suffering that stings. Prostitution and husband sharing aren't just scandals, they're symptoms of a world where survival trumps everything else. I've seen a lot in my years of wars, wonders, and Wi-Fi, but the culture of Bangladesh, with its blend of beauty and brutality, lingers like a half-remembered dream. The people of Bangladesh don't just endure, they adapt, resist, and sometimes rise, carving hope from despair. As I sit here, far from Dhaka's chaos, I wonder if our modern world, with its gadgets and grandstanding, has lost something the Bangladeshis still grasp: raw, unfiltered humanity. This travel documentary is my attempt to share that wonder, that unease, with you. So, what do you make of Bangladesh's secrets? Drop a comment, share your thoughts, and let's keep this story alive. The hidden gems of Bangladesh deserve to be seen, not forgotten. Because in their struggle, we see ourselves.